Learn to tie your own hair jigs. It's really not that hard. Makes them expendable, and they just flat out work.
Wrap it right over that, cinch down. All you really need to do, take a little pinch of this stuff.
Rabbit hair jig here. This is a jig I tied on a Do-It worm nose mold, Matsuo size 1 sickle hook. Out of the water, doesn't look much wet there. When you get that thing back down in that rabbit hair, just flare right out. Any little bit of movement of the current, the jig or anything, you know, just even the kayak and the rod bobbing up and down is going to move that jig really well, that hair, and it really looks alive. It's a pretty sharp looking jig here, and I'm really happy with the way they come out. You know, you can take your time and time up real nice, but I got a buddy of mine who, you know, just blows through them, and basically if you can get some hair on a hook, it's gonna, and get it in front of fish, it's gonna catch fish. I mean, his jigs that he ties can be just butt ugly sometimes, and you know, there's hair falling all off them, and they just look nasty. But he right there, you know, fish for fish when we're fishing together, you know, they work. So if a guy looking into getting into tying, he's thinking he's going to get started doing this, and thinking, well, you know, can I do it good or whatever? Doesn't matter. If you can get some hair on a hook, it's going to catch a fish.
Similar to the rabbit hair, the fox hair jigs are tied with, you literally take pieces of the hair, you take chunks of the hair out, a tuft of hair, and you tie it, and then you tie it around the hook. And what happens is that Arctic fox hair is so light that it'll literally float. It'll keep and float and pulsate. So the jig will sit on the bottom, and the hair will float up, and it'll actually breathe almost like it's a sculpin minnow. So I'll often tie browns and greens together, or browns and avocado colors together, and it'll just sit there and pulsate in the water. And you can fish a heavier jig that way, but it sits very delicate on the bottom. And I put mine on a football head jig, so it floats right up, and it'll just sit there and breathe.
First year I tied jigs on my own. I went out with one of the very first times I had out, and I got my personal best smallmouth to date. That was nearly 25 years ago. And it was 21 and a half inches, 5.5 pounds. It was caught on a black hair jig. March 14th, still remember it. Went home that night, got my dad, told him all about it, and he was all, you know, gung-ho to go out and give it a shot and try this. So get out there, and on the other side of the rock from where I caught that fish, I got the hair jig stuck on a stick, and I'm jiggling like this, and the thing broke free. 25-inch walleye pounces on it, and I ended up catching that fish. So in one day, I ended up with a 5.5 pound smallmouth, 21 inches long, and a 25-inch walleye, which probably went about 5 pounds too. So hair jigs are definitely the go-to for big fish in the cold water.